Hello and welcome to the Stitch Together podcast. My name is Chrissy, I'm your host. The date is Monday the 12th of October 2015 and we're on episode number 23. Thank you for joining me today. It's glorious autumnal day here. We've been really lucky over the last week or so. We've had that really gorgeous golden light that you get only at this time of year when the leaves are starting to change colour and things, and I just love this time of year. It's crisp and clear and clean. I just love it. So I hope you're having equally gorgeous weather for appropriate for your location because if you're in Australia it's spring, so it's a bit different, but I do love autumn quite a lot. So it's been lovely to look out the window and see the birds and the squirrel running around. And we've got a couple of squirrels that hang out in our garden and they're absolutely hilarious. I just like go in really random places and hang upside down and try and get to the fat balls on the bird feeder, and just keeps me entertained out my garden window. Simple things. You're probably thinking, Chrissy looks a little different. What's different about her? Is it new glasses, new hair? What? It's makeup. I do know how to do it. I do, I promise. I just don't do it normally. I normally don't bother. I only do it when I'm going out. But today I finally got around to doing the photographs for the boat trip pattern, which is something that had been holding me back quite a lot with getting it published. So hopefully now I've got those photos, I can do my last bits and pieces, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well, and the catastrophes before then and now. Hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to announce it's gone live. So again, as I repeat what I said in a previous episode, if you're interested in the boat trip cowl and you want to be told when the pattern goes live, just send me a PM or something and I'll stick you on an earburn list for contacting you when the pattern goes live. So thank you for all the interest, and hopefully it'll get done soon. So had a really good weekend. Went to see some friends of ours. They're actually pretty much our best friends, and they lived up the road from us, about 10 minutes walk up the road from us, and we saw quite a lot of them. And they've just moved house, so I went to see their new house, and it's out in the countryside in a small village, and it's got woods, it's got a reservoir, it's got sort of heathland. It's a gorgeous location, and it's a beautiful cottage that's actually two cottages that have been knocked together, and it's gorgeous. Such a nice place, and we've not seen them very much this year, and it was so nice just to catch up with them and sort of hang out in their new place and notice how quiet it is in the countryside compared to the city. You don't notice it until the noise of the city isn't there. And it was just so relaxing spending time even just in the house, noticing the difference. And yeah, I was kind of jealous with their new house in their lovely countryside location, even though there's no way I could live in a countryside location. I mean, they don't have a shop in the village, and I couldn't live somewhere where I didn't at least have a shop that I could get to. So sadly, country living will never be for me, but I can enjoy visiting it. So yeah, that was fun, and some friends came and said hi on Sunday. They were using our driveway to park their car because they were going to see Rugby World Cup matches. A few of them have been held in Leicester, and it was nice to catch up with them again. And this coming week, my mum's cousin, who I refer to as my aunt because she's like a sister to my mum, they're really close. She's coming down to the Midlands with her husband, and he has a meeting. So every year this happens. She gets on a bus and comes across to Leicester, and we spend a couple of hours together in town, sort of having lunch and catching up, and then she sort of gets the bus back, and it's lovely. I really, really love seeing that auntie. She's one of my favourite relatives. She's great fun. She's a real character. She's got a great sense of humour, and she's just a lovely woman. So I really enjoy catching up with her as well. So hopefully it will be a busy week if you include all the stuff that happened at the weekend as well. So it's been fun doing stuff, and fingers crossed things will continue to get added to the list of things that I can do. Hopefully see more of my friends and get out and enjoy this lovely weather we've been having. So fingers crossed anyway. I'm not counting my chickens before they're hatched. That's my goal, that's my aim, is to be able to go out a couple of times a week and see people and do things. So hopefully that's going to happen, but I can't sort of make any promises to myself because I think I'll be disappointed if they don't happen. So anyway, stuff and things. We have a spin along to draw prizes for. In fact, I've already drawn the prizes, and that finished on the 30th of September, and it was so much fun doing the spin along. I really enjoyed it. And when I was looking up hashtags to use for this, I realised that I actually done a spin along last year as well. So hopefully this will become an annual event. So I think I'll try and make it September next year as well, because I think it really worked well, because it was a couple of months after Tour de Fleece and before all the sort of gift making frenzy of the sort of latter months of the year. So I think September would work again. I really enjoyed it, and there was some fantastic people chatting away in the group, and some amazing projects were posted and gave me lots of ideas for different dyers and different fibres to try, and there was so much feedback and chat, and it was such good fun. I really enjoyed it. So if you took part in that in whatever shape or form, thank you for joining me in the spin along. Had fun, and hopefully you did too. So without further ado, I shall tell you who won the prizes. So first of all, please excuse the crackling. I'll try not to rustle it too much. These fantastic Harlequin bites from Deb at Fondant Fibre, and it's 150 grams of Shetland Merino bamboo in these fabulous colours, really gorgeous colours. And I don't know if Deb's doing them anymore, which is sad because I would have bought some if they were still in stock. I'll have to keep an eye out for that and see if there are any more. Anyway, that prize goes to Happy Debs, which is really nice because she donated a prize for the craft along we just had. So it's kind of nice that it's worked out that way. So Debs, I know you've not been spinning that long. I think you'll have lots of fun with those. I think they look nice and easy to spin with, and I think you'll have fun playing with those. So get in touch with me and I'll send them out to you. And the second prize goes to the lovely Jamie Walcott, and that was these fantastic bats from Sarah's Texture Crafts. If I can, I don't want to open because it's so prettily wrapped, and the bats are Porto, and it's just pure merino, and it's 100 grams, and they're such pretty colours. I don't know if you can see. Really like them, and I think, Jamie, you will have great fun with those. It's very pretty, and I think you'll enjoy working with Sarah's fibre, because I don't think you will have tried it yet, being overseas. You overseas? Why do I think you're overseas? That was an assumption. I know I've seen you on the boards, and I'm pretty sure you've won something in the past. Pretty sure you have. Anyway, that's for you, Jamie. Well done, and get in touch and I'll get it out to you in the post straight away. So again, thank you all for joining in with the spin along. It's been great fun. I'm not really ready to launch into any more craft alongs at the moment. I've not really got any ideas, and I don't want to just do them for the sake of doing them. I want to do craft alongs, spin alongs that I really want to do, because I want to be enthusiastic about it, because if I'm not enthusiastic about it, I can't help you be enthusiastic about it. So I've not really got anything buzzing around in my brain at the moment. I don't know how long that will last for, but I'm going to try and get on with doing some more gifts and things for Christmas presents, because I want to get ahead of that and not rush. One thing I've been thinking about doing is maybe doing monsters for my nephews who seem to like them, because Victorian studio is doing a toy cal at the moment, and it's a good motivator because other people are doing them, and it'll get another thing out of the way to sort of go in the gift basket, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing at the moment in terms of craft alongs. I'm joining in with somebody else's. So go and have a look. It's good fun. So I have some done and dusted. Not a lot of done and dusted, but I have some. The first thing is a thing that has been taking all my attention for a few weeks, and that is a Hito Fude. I have finished it. I'm so pleased with it. Really, really delighted. I've been wearing it loads already because it's the perfect weight for this time of year. That's the front, and I did make adjustments to this because I had heard that it was quite short, and I have a long torso, so if you've not seen the Hito Fude before, I'm surprised that you haven't, because it's been everywhere. It's constructed in a way that it's not in pieces, it's all in one single piece from start to finish. And it starts with the sleeves, and it's done side to side, right across the back and the sleeves, using provisional cast on. And it goes to one piece all the way across. And then you do a 3-needle bind off under the arm to create the sleeve on both sides. And this is what it's supposed to look like. This nice, nice neat seam. And on the other side, where I made my mistake and did something weird with my provisional casting on, don't know what I did, I've got this nice little ridge. It's a row of pearls. I don't know how it got there, but as it's underneath my arm, no one's going to notice, so I'm not worrying about it. So you do the 3-needle bind offs around with the sleeves, and then you pick up around the open edge, sort of along the bottom, down the fronts and across the back, and you do some ribbing, and then you cast off the ribbing at the top. And I have to say, this is stretching out quite a lot, and I think that's down to me using did I use a stretchy bind off? I probably did. I do that automatically, and it's stretching quite a lot. It shouldn't be that slack. So what I think I might do is do some single crochet just at the bottom of the ribbing, just to hold it in a bit, keep it nice and tight so it doesn't stretch out too much, because it's wide at the back. And then once you've cast off the ribbing at the back, you work your way down. And what I did differently was I did an extra couple of repeats in the top part for the sleeves, because I wanted them to be nice and loose. They're not hideous, they're not like kimono sleeves, but they aren't tight anymore, which gives me room for t-shirts and things without it looking strained. So I mean, I know lace is really stretchy, but what I didn't want to do was stretch it out of all proportion. So yeah, extra couple of rows of the lace before the ribbing. After the ribbing, in the sort of body, I did an extra lace repeat before I started doing the increases, and I did 2 more pattern repeats of the increases to get the length I wanted. And I'm really pleased with how it looks. It fits really nicely. I would be wearing it now, but I'm actually quite warm. I don't know why. Heating's on the same level as it usually is. I think it's because I've been doing photographs and things. It's a bit more physical than just lying on the sofa. So really pleased with it. I alternated skeins all the way through, and I think that was the right thing to do, because there are sort of little blips, and I think if I'd not alternated them, it would have been very glaringly obvious where the change of skeins was. But I'm really pleased with how it's come out. And I can see why people make lots of them, because it was good fun. You don't get bored. It's a lot quicker than a lot of garments. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. The length is perfect. I just need to pull in across the back of the neck. That's all I really think I need to do with it. It pins really nicely. It could sort of wrap over on the front using a shawl pin or something. And I was wearing it earlier, just pinned at the front with a little brooch, so it was kind of fluttery, which I liked. What I have done is I've taken some photos this morning when I was doing my cowl photos, and what I'll try and do is put them in here. Okay, hopefully I remember to do that, because if I didn't, I'm going to look silly. So that was the thing that's really taken all of my attention recently. Oops, sorry. Don't want it to cascade. I'm going to put this on the floor, I think. It's all wrapped up nicely, Deb, don't worry. The other thing I finished is a pair of socks. These socks have been hanging around for months, and they started out as Zigzagular Socks by Susie White of the Prairie Girls Knit and Spin podcast, and I found that I couldn't do it brainlessly, and I wanted something that I could just knit round and round and round and round, not actually look at or think about, so I could just sit and knit while I read or was chatting to people. I didn't want to have to check every few rounds to see what I was doing, and that's why it was just sitting there not doing anything. And now I have a pair of socks really quickly, because I decided to just do plain 2x2 ribbing across the top. I left the stitch count as I think I reduced the stitch count by 4. Did the normal fish lips kiss heel, then did the 2x2 ribbing all the way up to the 5-inch mark. Normally what I'd have done is done increases at 4 inches to increase for the calf, but with the 2x2 rib it just was stretchy enough to take it, and I was umming and ahhing about whether to put those in, what to do about those increases. And when I got about halfway up my sort of final 1x1 rib for the calf, it was a little snug at the top, and I didn't want them to dig in, so I pulled back to the ribbing and increased 2 at the front, 2 at the back. So, and then just did 1x1 rib all the way around. And this is Countess Ablaze, Viscount of Spark, Riots and Revolts. And this was one of her Caesar colourways, one of the limited edition ones she did last year. And it feels lovely. It's really nice and soft, and it's sparkly as well, which I really like. Don't know if you can see the sparkle. You can just see the sparkles just. And they're crazy. They're mad. I really like them. They look like a bit like tiger. And I shall wear them all the time. So yeah, I got those done really quickly. So that is it for done and dusted. I only had those 2 things. Because the heat of food day was just, I was just so full on, got to get that done because I want to wear it now. It's the right time of year to be wearing something like that sort of 4-ply, nice and light, comfortable to wear. Doesn't sort of, I like the fact that it's 3/4 sleeves. It doesn't get in the way when you sort of, you know, washing your hands and things like that. You don't have to pull up the sleeves and stretch them out when you're doing that. So I'm really pleased at how that went. In fact, you know what? I didn't tell you what yarn it was. If you've seen previously, you would know this. it is Araucania, don't know how it's pronounced. I've heard it done both ways. Botany lace in the 2118 colourway, and I got that from Stash Fine Yarns, and I got it with 35% off a discount as well. It was discounted as well because this was I don't know if it was a colourway that wasn't particularly popular or something, but I got it for a real bargain. In fact, I've still got 100 grams left, so I can do something with those. I don't know what, but it's very, very soft, and it's starting to look a bit fuzzy already just from wearing it for a week. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of tempted to make another one in something a little more hard wearing, like a BFL or something, simply because I think it'll be worn quite a lot, and if it falls apart after just one season, I'll be a bit disappointed. But that is it for Done and Dusted now. And next we have Nose to the Grindstone. So obviously, because I finished a pair of socks, I had to cast on a pair of socks, and I've already finished the first one. Isn't it fabulous? I love this yarn. I've had it for ages, but I sort of haven't done many socks at all this year. I think it's because I did so many last year when I was doing the self-striping socks cowl with the stockinette zombies, and I did one each month for 12 months, and I think I sort of had my fill of socks after that. So this was nice self-striping yarn that was in my stash but had not been used, and I was just looking through my sock yarns on Ravelry thinking, oh, what shall I use to knit my next pair of socks, and I saw this in my stash and thought, must use that. It is yarn from, let me see if I can find, did I throw it away? If I did, I'm a fool. No, I didn't. It is from Fab Funky Fibres, and that's on Etsy. And the yarn is self-striping hand-dyed yarn, 75% merino, 25% nylon. It's superwash. It's 4-ply fingering weight, 100 grams, 425 meters. So it's not a heavyweight sock yarn. It's probably a bit more on the skinny side. And the colourway is Mishmash, which I think says it all really, because the colours don't repeat in any particular order. They're all sorts of different colours. Some of them repeat, some of them don't. I really, really like them. And I'm not sure how well I'm conveying the colour, because they're really saturated and really pop. So yeah, I think I heard about Fab Funky Fibres on the Knitmore Girls. Jasmine was raving on about the colours, and I went and had a look, and she's in the UK, so I ordered this skein, and I've already done that first sock. I've not cast on the second one yet, but that's the rest of the colour. That's the rest of the skein. I'm really pleased. The heel, as always, is the Fish Lips Kiss heel by Socks Therapist, and I use for my heels, pretty much if I'm doing anything that has a regular repeat of any kind, such as stripes, I will use the opposite end of the skein to do the heel, and that way there's no interruption or break in the stripes at the front. To be honest, I probably could have got away with it on these socks, but it's habitual. That's what I do now. So really, really happy with those, and I think they feel quite sturdy. I think they will last, and I think they'll soften up beautifully when they're washed. I don't normally block my socks. Don't see any reason to, because the only way anyone's ever going to see them is actually on my foot, except for you guys, and it's not going to make that much difference to you guys. Especially if it was lace or something pretty cabling or something, I'd probably block them for you, but there doesn't seem much point for a plain pair of ribbed socks, really. It seems a bit of a waste of time and effort. It's just socks. It's just going to go on my feet. So I also have another new project because I've finished the Heated Food Day. And though I still have plenty of works in progress knocking around, I wanted to do something new. It was like I wanted to cast on because I'd cast off. So I cast on the Clincher by Ash Kearns. And this yarn is, let me show you in the ball. It's fabulous. It's Perrin Yarns, Perrans, and she's on Etsy. And this is her 4-ply MCN. And the yarn was a custom order. She had it was kind of muddy, something, you know, muddy river or something. It was kind of browns and greys. And I saw this kind of lovely bright turquoise that she had in another colourway, and I asked her to put the two together, and I am absolutely delighted at how it came out. And it's beautifully soft, and I think it's going to be, I'm going to wear it a lot. I think it's a good colour for me, and I'm doing them on 3.5mm US 4, even though the pattern states 3.75mm, because I do knit quite loosely, and I wanted it to be, the ones I'd seen in photos, they looked really smooshy and elastic, and I thought if I do it too loose it won't have that effect. So I wanted to make sure it was quite firm. I mean, I didn't swatch, I just made that assumption and knit for a bit and was happy with the fabric, so I carried on. I'm not sure if you've seen the Clincher. I can't remember where I heard about it from. Let me see if I can find a picture to show you, because I really like it. It's something that I've had in my queue for a long time. So I basically, when I was looking for something else to cast on, I went and had a look in my queue and thought, oh, that looks nice and fast and easy and mindless and useful for this time of year. Because at this time of year I don't want like big thick cowls when I go out, but I do want something around my neck, and so I've been wearing sort of shawlettes as scarves. And let me see, there we go. And you can see it's got this elasticity about it. It scrunches up and it sort of folds really nicely. And it's got these loops on the sort of the wide end of the sort of scarf shawlette. And you thread the ends in through those loops to keep it secure. And I really liked that. And I thought that looked really interesting. I've not decided what colour I'm going to use for that just yet. But I want it to be something quite a strong contrast the way it is on this picture, because I think it makes it work really well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's a very, very straightforward, easy pattern. And it's, you know, I've only been doing it for a couple of days, but I'm pleased with my progress. And it's, because it's the MCN, it's going to be so soft. It's going to be really decadent. And I probably just wear it around the house as well, because it's so smooshy. So yeah, it's nice to be using something from stash and out of my queue as well. I don't often do that. So I'll just pop that down there. And finally, in my nose to the grindstone section, I have a couple of swatches. And I know that sounds a little unusual, but the swatching is the aim, because Louise from Knit British, the Knit British audio podcast, she's doing a swatch along, a breed swatch along, whereby you get a single breed yarn that is available to you locally, in my case in the UK, and you do a huge swatch, and then you block it and you test it by sort of wearing it inside a sleeve or something for the day, or rubbing it just using it in a way that it'll actually get some wear, examining how it goes, how it feels, and then doing it again and seeing how much difference that makes. And I think there's a third optional step where you can try and felt it. And originally I just got some Blacker Breeds yarn. Oops. Pure North Ronaldsay Aran, and I just really like this colour. It's a really, really lovely colour, and it just looked really nice. And I decided I wanted to do North Ronaldsay because Countess Blaze, as you know, is one of my favourite dyers. She does a North Ronaldsay yarn as a sock weight, and she says it's really good for socks. And I thought, well, this will be a cheaper way, because it's not hand dyed, for me to work out what I think of the breed. And I've completed that swatch. I still have a skein left over, and I'm really pleased with it. I've not blocked it yet. It's quite robust. There's not a lot of give in it. It feels almost sort of almost felted already. It's let me see if I can. Kind of robust. It doesn't untwist easily. Come on. No. And it's got quite a lot of guard hairs on it, and it's definitely an outerwear kind of thing. Feels a bit like the loppy that I did my cardigan out of. But I like it. I'm interested to see how it blocks. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be interesting, and I'll let you know the results of that, as well as the second one I decided to do, which is Wensleydale Sheep Shop. Wensleydale long wool from the Wensleydale Sheep Shop. And it's a DK weight, and it didn't have any gauge and suggested gauge information. And Wensleydale is something I was really interested in, because I mean, Wensleydale is sort of quite local to my native North Yorkshire, and it's a lovely part of the world. And I just thought it'd be interesting to see what something that was local to me. Did I say it was less long wool? I didn't. It's Wensleydale long wool. I am losing my marbles. I don't think I did say that at all. I did say it was the Wensleydale long wool. Thinking of locations where I live. And oh my goodness, this stuff is gorgeous. I had no idea. It just feels amazing. It's got this amazing luster to it. It's soft, it's silky, it's smooth, and it feels tough as well, at the same time as being really soft. I can't think of a common analogy to it, because it's different. It's really different. And I'm really looking forward to blocking this and seeing how it feels, because I would love to do a cardigan in this, or a sweater, because it feels nice and light and airy. It's got that lovely sort of halo to it. It looks soft, but it's almost surprising that it is as soft, because it's a breed specific that isn't merino or BFL. I'm really looking forward to doing that. So next stage of my swatching is to do the blocking, and hopefully by the next episode I will have that to share with you and let you know what I find out. It's been really interesting, and I think more than anything I'm really looking forward to seeing what other people have done and the swatches they've made and what breeds they've done, and it will create this amazing database for people who want to use breed specific yarns but are a bit shy of spending money on lots of yarn that they're not really that keen on because they've not had a chance to feel it, because a lot of these breed specific yarns are not commonly found anywhere other than at fibre shows, and a lot of us can't get to fibre shows, we buy online. And if we have a great big detailed informational database of what all these breed specific yarns are like, we can make an educated guess about what would be likely to be usable for the project we have in mind. So I'm kind of excited about the whole thing, and I'm really pleased that Louise decided to do this. It's exciting and interesting, and I'm also interested in seeing what people around the world have done that's local to them as well. So it's really, really exciting and interesting. But that is it for my Nose to the Grindstone as well, because that's really the only things I've worked on since the last episode, and it's all down to that Hito Fude taking up lots of time, but I'm quite happy with what I've managed to achieve so far. So we shall move swiftly on to Blast from the Past. I was really pleased with the feedback I got from this new section, and I decided to carry on with it and see what happened. And I've just noticed something in my, I've got a big loop. I don't think it's a drop stitch, but it's just pulled, I think, in my Blast from the Past. And this is a test knit I did in 2012, and it is called Fluvial by Marjorie Dassault. And like I said, it was a test knit, and it's knit out of Malabrigo sock, which I love so much. It's great soft yarn. It sort of grabs the stitches next to it to make a really beautiful uniform fabric. And this, I've not worn this a lot despite really liking it because it's an unusual length. If I wear it wrapped around the back of my shoulders, it basically, it's sort of warms across the back of my shoulders and then hits mid-hip. But it doesn't keep my arms warm, it just keeps the back of my neck and my front warm. And which it sounds like it'd be ideal for leaning back on the sofa quite a lot, so the back of me wouldn't overheat and the front of me would be kept warm. But it's, the arms tend to get a bit chilly, and it's not really long enough to kind of wrap round as a kind of stole type thing. So it hasn't got as much wear as I would have liked. I'm kind of almost tempted to frog it and use the yarn for something else, but I love it so much. It's so pretty. It's great in winter because it sits down my shoulders and covers the front, and it has this nice frilly ribbed edging, and it sort of stands up next to my neck if I wear it underneath my coat. So it is useful when it's cooler weather, but it doesn't really stand up to weather that's very cold. It's sort of this time, basically when I first start to wear my winter coat, that's when it's useful for about a month, if that, before it gets really cold. But it's another one where I alternated skeins to make sure there was no sort of hard lines, and it used 2 skeins, I think. And I think if I were to do it again, which I don't think I will, because it's not had as much use as I would have liked, I would do it I would use 3 or 4 skeins and make it into a stole and make it long and so it would wrap around. That would be my suggestion. But the yarn's stood up pretty well. It's not pilled half as much as I thought it was going to, and I think that's down to, like I said, the yarn seems to sort of grab hold of the stitch next to itself, and it forms a much more even fabric, so there's less to pull against. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Let's see if I can. It's very, very even fabric. I really like it. And the sort of cabled lace sections. Let's see if I can show you the cable bit and then open the lace bit to show you that. So it was fun. I really enjoyed knitting it, and it was a really good test knit. But I think having it only, that's folded in half by the way, only having it that big makes it a bit tricky. I mean, I suppose I could kind of, I'll probably get more use out of it if I did that when it got colder and sat in the opening on my winter coat. I could probably get more use out of it if I did that more often. I shall have to think about that this year, because I do really love it and I kind of forget about it because I don't wear it very often. It's one of those things, if you don't wear something very often, you don't think to wear it. Whereas if you use it all the time, you think to wear it. So there are certain things that get used a lot, and there are certain things that just never get used because you just forget to pull them out. So I'm quite glad I decided to talk to you about that today. And it was Fluvial, which is Fluvial by Marjorie Dussault. And it's there's a link in the show notes to that, as well as all the other patterns and things I've talked about. And I think, do you know what I didn't talk to you about in Notes to the Grindstone, despite having my show notes in front of me? I didn't talk about my spinning, and that's important. So I have got to the stage where I am plying the BFL that I got from Yarn Geek Fibres in the Iron Man 2 colourway. And I'll see if I can get the colour right. That's the colour, that's the yarn, if you see what I mean. And it's taking forever. It's taking so long because it's quite fine. So I've got one spindle's worth on the Niddy Noddy, and let me see if I can. It's really very fine indeed. And that's why it's taking so long. It's just taking hours and hours and hours. Basically, this is 4 hours of plying. Normally, I would expect to have finished a lot more in 4 hours of plying. But I'm determined to get it done because I think it'll make amazing shawl yarn. But I've still got all this to ply up. It's just taking forever. Long time. So the other thing because I generally tend to have something I'm plying on and something I'm spinning on at any given time, because I sit at opposite ends of the sofa, depending to get which hand I'm using to flick with, simply because the arm that I'm flicking with I want to have up against the back of the sofa, so the arm that's holding the single or the fibre is sort of able to go out, which I can't do if it's up against the sofa. It's fine if I'm sitting sideways, but it's not very comfortable for me to sit sort of like a normal way of sitting on a sofa, whereas I always sit along the sofa, propped up against the back. So the one thing that I've been working on is some lovely, lovely Polworth from Sarah's Texture Crafts, which is the Final Frontier. And that is my lovely Spanish peacock Tibetan, which I adore. It spins beautifully. It's very even, very fast. but spins for a long time. And it's going to be a bit thick. It's a thicker single. I'm probably aiming for like a DK weight. Polworth puffs up a bit as well. And I've got this many singles so far. That's 50 grams worth of singles. Let's see if I can. There we go. It's 50 grams of singles, and the colours are beautiful. Absolutely love this. So pleased. I mean, I love spinning Polworth. It's so much fun. It's soft, it's smooth, it's got more grip than Merino has and more bounce than Merino has, but it's almost as soft in my opinion. So Polworth is definitely one of my favourite fibres to spin, and the colours in this braid are absolutely stunning. So I'll have to work a bit more on that, hopefully in the next week or so, because I've been knitting the Heater Food Day. I've been sort of to the exclusion of everything else. I've not really done much spinning at all. So the plying was done at the weekend. That's the only stuff I've really touched since I recorded the last episode. So I can't believe I forgot to tell you about my spinning. Useless podcaster. So what I'm going to talk to you about now is Splashed Out, one of my favourite sections, as well, you know. So I got my second batch of Cornish tin, which was purchased for me by my own personal shopper, my sister-in-law Emma, and she went to Yarndale and she picked me up some yarn, some more Cornish tin from Blacker Yarns, which I asked her to do, because she texted me and said, is there anything you want me to pick up? And I went, oh, I've already got some Cornish tin, but I really want some more, because I'd seen stash photographs of the other colourways, and originally I'd only really liked the red and the grey, which I already bought, but I saw some photographs of this amazing blue, and the photographs on the Blacker website do not convey the beauty of this blue. I mean, that's a pretty accurate portrayal of the colour that I can see on the screen. It's this amazing blue, deep and vibrant, and it's called Bottleac Blue. It's this amazing Cornish tin which has 10 different fibres from the UK in it, and I'm so glad I asked my sister-in-law to get me some extra yarn, because this blue is just amazing. So she asked me, what do you want me to get? And I said, well, either the 4-ply or the DK, I'm fine with that, but I want 2 skeins of what you get me in the same colour, because I want to make a big shawl or like a hat and cowl set. So she picked this blue up in 4-ply for me, and she sort of texted me and said, I've got you this, but they've still got the turquoise in the DK. Do you want me to get that as well? And I went, oh my god, I'm going to be so broke. But yes, because I knew if I didn't, I would never ever get an opportunity like this again. That's it. It's limited edition. What's sold is sold. And I didn't feel too guilty, because she went on Sunday afternoon of Yarndale, which meant if everyone else who was really, really keen to get hold of some of this went to Yarndale that hadn't got any online, they probably would have gone in the morning. So that was how I justified it to myself. And this is the turquoise in the Dolcoath turquoise, and I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. Dolcoath, probably, turquoise. And again, it's this lovely sort of watery turquoise colour, and that's in a double knit, and it does feel really different in a double knit, in the thicker yarn, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a hat and cowl set, and this is going to be a big swoopy shawl. So really, really pleased with those when they came. They were squeeing when I opened it. And secondly, in Splashed Out, I got an email from Chester Wool Company after I bought the yarn that I use for dyeing from there. I think it's bluefaced.net is the retail side of things, and Chester Wool Company is the wholesale side of things. And in the package with my yarn that I bought to dye, I got a flyer saying in the second week of October and the second week of April we do sampler packs which are at wholesale plus 10%, and you get 500 skeins in them. So it's a real bargain. And I decided that I was going to get some yarn in that discount sample sale. And I looked long and hard at what was on the website because there's an awful lot of really, really good yarn. I think a lot of the UK indie dyers get their yarn from Chester Wool Company. It's great quality. And the yarn that I chose to get was Tibetan 4-ply. Is that focusing? It's fantastic stuff. It is the same base that I am knitting my Condinia wrap out of because I love it. When I started knitting the wrap with it, I was just really enamoured of it. It's 60% superwash merino, 20% yak and 20% silk, and it's got a lovely firm ply to it, firm twist to the ply, which gives it it keeps the sort of shorter fibres, the yak and the merino, safely contained within the stronger, longer fibres of the silk. So it's not too fuzzy, which is something that I thought would happen with this kind of combination until I got the yarn for the Cardinia wrap, and I thought this is really, really smooth yarn, and I think it's going to hold up really well to being worn. And I couldn't justify buying 5 skeins at the full retail price. It just was really prohibitively expensive because it's quite flash yarn. And then I had a look at the prices in this sale and I thought, if I don't buy it, I'll kick myself because I really, really love this yarn. So, and 500 grams is more than enough to do a decent size pullover, because I think a 4-ply pullover will be lovely and lightweight but warm, especially with the yak included. And with this kind of nature of the ply, it's going to make it nice and smooth and strong at the same time. So yeah, a bit more than I would normally want to spend, but because it's got such a lovely champagne colour, I'm not going to dye it. I'm just going to do it in that colour because I think it's lovely. In fact, let me hold it up to my skin. I think that's a colour that will work for me as a sweater. Really like it. So I'm going to have to look for a pattern. I'm actually kind of tempted to do a great big swatch and then use the Custom Fit website by Amy Herzog. She has this amazing website where you can plug in your gauge, plug in your measurements and choose a style or from patterns that have already been written up, and it will do a personalised pattern for you and your measurements and your yarn. It's not cheap, but it's not an awful lot more expensive than it would be to buy a regular pattern, and it is tailored to you. And it seems like a really, really good idea to do that with some special yarn that I've got. So I'm kind of tempted to do that with it. But at the moment I'm thinking about it, allowing it to mull over. And that's it for Splashed Out. It doesn't seem a lot until you look at the price of it all. It's like, kind of costly. But I've got enough of each to do something significant rather than it just being a single skein here and there, which I found doesn't really add up to much. It's enough to do a decent sized project in all of the yarns that I've got, so I'm really happy with that. And in online community, I have a special thing for you. I follow Luli on Instagram, and she posted a bag that she was making online, and I fell in love with it. It is gigantic. I mean, look at this. It's enormous, this bag. And look at these cute sheep. Aren't they sweet? Really cute sheep. And it's really robust. It's been interfaced really nicely. It's got this great casing for the drawstring, this gingham casing. It's got big spotty pockets, matches the fabric at the bottom of the bag. A really nice big handle. It's unlikely I would ever knit with it from my wrist, but it does make it easier to grab hold and pick it up and move it around. And really nice cord drawstrings. And I mentioned on the Instagram, I was like, oh, that's great. That's exactly the sort of size I'm short of. I really should go on your website and have a look at this size. Because sometimes it's hard to tell sizes, even if the measurements are written down. And she very, very kindly got in touch and said, would you like it? I can send it to you and you can give it a go. And also, would you like something for your viewers? Yes, absolutely. Send me things to give away to you lovely people. Look how cute this is. This is for you, you guys. It's gorgeous. Lovely sort of pretty roses print on this great linen, which seems both of these bags are in a sort of fairly robust linen, I think. And lovely hearts at the top and a contrasting casing for the drawstring, and 3 pockets in the white inside, so you can put all your bits and bobs in, your needles and your tape measures and your scissors. And again, it's got a good handle. With this size, you probably could knit with it hanging from your wrist if you were out somewhere like at a knit night or something and you didn't want it to end up on the floor. It'd be perfect. And thank you so much, Lee. It's a great prize, and it's got sort of decent gusset to it as well. It's a really good size. Let me see. It's not quite big enough for me to fit a skein of yarn lengthways in it, but that's got 3 of those Cornish tin skeins in it, so that gives you an idea of size. I could probably fit in a 4th actually. There we go. Wouldn't necessarily close because it's too tall, but that's how big it is. So if you want to win this lovely, lovely prize, you should go over to Ravelry and go to the Stitch Together podcast group. There's a link in the show notes. And just noticed, there we go. Can you see that? There we go. Etsy.com/shop/shoplulie. And that's the Etsy shop. Beautifully made, really strong, really robust. I think these would last a good long time. So if you want to win this lovely, lovely bag, you should go over to the Ravelry thread. There'll be a link to the shop, so go and have a look. But what I want to know for the prompt is, tell me why you love project bags. What about them fulfills a need within you? Just wax poetic about why you love project bags. If you want to put in any ideas about what particular type of project bag you like, you can do that as well, because I'm sure other bag makers as well as Lee would be very interested in what you guys look for in a project bag. So that is it for today. I thank you for spending some time with me. Go over to the Ravelry group, say hello. come and chat in the episode threads. It's always nice to hear feedback for particular episodes, and go and enter the prize thread. And thank you once again for spending time with me, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye. Oh no, before I do that, what I need to tell you is the closing date for that will be, it will either be in 2 weeks' time, which will be the 28th of October, or it will be when I record the next episode, whichever is the latest of those two things. So if I record next week, for instance, the thread won't close until the week after. But if it's 2 weeks until I record again, then it'll be then. Just to let you know whether if you watch this too late in order to enter, but that's what I'm going to do. So back once again to carry on with what I was saying. Thank you for spending time with me, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.